So your company did it. You went through all the work, all the paperwork, and now you've got that shiny ISO 9001 certificate hanging on the wall. You've got the logo on your website, but something just isn't right. We're going to dive into why that plaque on the wall might actually be more of a trap than a trophy.
And this is the question, isn't it? It's the one that keeps quality managers and CEOs up at night. You followed every rule in the book, you sailed through the audit, you got the official seal of approval, so why are customer complaints still creeping up? Why are there still inconsistencies in your products?
The expectation couldn't be simpler. Getting ISO certified is supposed to mean you're a quality company. But for so many businesses, the reality is this massive, frustrating gap where the paperwork is absolutely perfect, but the actual customer experience is, well, it's falling flat. So what in the world is going on here? Turns out the answer is in a huge misunderstanding of what ISO certification is really all about.
To really get to the bottom of this, we've got to be super clear on our definitions. It all boils down to the difference between just having a system and truly embracing a philosophy. They might sound kind of similar, but believe me, in the real world, they are miles apart.
All right, so let's break it down. What is ISO 9001? At its core, it's a quality management system. Its whole job is to make sure you have processes written down, that you can repeat them over and over, and that an auditor can check your work. See the key words here? System, documented, consistency. It's all about control and making things predictable. Now, compare that to this. Total Quality Management, or TQM. This isn't a system you just install like a piece of software. It's a management philosophy that has to be adopted by everyone. It's about a culture of always getting better. You might note it as the Kaizen mindset. It puts the customer right at the heart of everything and says that everyone, from the newest hire to the CEO, is responsible for quality.
So, you see, the problem isn't ISO 9001 itself. Not at all. The problem starts when a company mistakes the system for the philosophy. And when that happens, you get these 4 classic breakdowns that just stop any real improvement dead in its tracks. Let's walk through them.
First up, you get what's called the compliance mentality. This is where the whole goal of the company shifts. It's no longer about making customers happy, it's just about passing the next audit. People follow procedures to the letter, not because it's the best way to do things, but because that's what the auditor is going to check. The focus flips from the actual customer to the person with the clipboard.
Second, your feedback loop just shatters. Customer complaints start rolling in, but they're basically treated like background noise. Nobody's digging in to find the real root cause of the problem. And those corrective actions? They're usually just quick, surface-level patches. The parts of the ISO standard that talk about continuous improvement, they get the old tick-the-box treatment, just doing the bare minimum to get by.
And naturally, that leads straight to breakdown number 3, employee disengagement. Think about it. The people who are actually doing the work, the ones who see the problems up close every single day, are basically told just follow the script. They don't feel empowered to suggest a better way, they can't stop a bad product from shipping, and they definitely can't challenge a process that they know is broken. Any spark of innovation just dies right there on the factory floor.
And finally, the big one, the leadership gap. This happens when top management sees ISO certification as just another project with a start and end date. It's a milestone you hit, and then you move on. They don't see it as the living, breathing management system it's supposed to be. Without a real vision for quality that's tied to customer happiness, the whole thing just falls apart.
Okay, so that's the problem. It sounds a little bleak, I know, but the good news is there's a really clear path out of this trap. It's all about making a shift from a mindset of just compliance to a genuine culture of quality. Let's look at the roadmap for how to actually do that.
This 5-phase roadmap is your guide. You start by defining what the real problem is. What's that gap between your certificate and your customer's actual experience? Then you measure it. Get the hard data. Next, you analyze that data to find the real root causes. From there, you improve things by empowering your team to fix those root problems. And finally, you control it all by keeping an eye on your key metrics, which is how you build that true culture of continuous improvement.
Now, after hearing all that, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, should we just ditch our ISO certification altogether? And you know what? That's a totally fair question.
And the answer is a very clear no. The goal isn't to get rid of it. The goal is to evolve beyond it.
Look, getting rid of ISO means you lose all that structural discipline it brings. You also lose a really powerful sign of credibility in your industry. So the trick is to reposition it. Stop thinking of ISO 9001 as the ceiling, as the highest you can go. Instead, think of it as the solid foundation that you build a real, lasting culture of quality on top of. All right, let's boil everything we've talked about down to the single most important shift in thinking that you need to bring back to your team.
It really all comes down to this one powerful distinction. ISO 9001 is a system designed to make sure you are doing things right, following the procedure exactly as it's written. Total quality management, on the other hand, is a philosophy that ensures you are doing the right things in the first place and always looking for a better way. One is about compliance, the other is about excellence.
And that leaves us with this final, critical thought. Getting this right isn't about having better paperwork or fancier technical tools. The real challenge, and honestly the real opportunity, is changing the mindset of management, starting at the very top. So the question is quality just a certificate you hang on the wall, or is it the absolute core of how you do business? How you answer that is going to define everything.